My name is John Carroll. I'm the CEO and founder of the Service Council, and it's always really exciting for me to welcome new guests to our Smarter Services webinar. And just incredibly pleased to be joined by Julio Hartstein. Julio is the owner of 360 Apartment Renovations, a really up and coming organization, and he'll introduce his company, their footprint, and the journey that they're on with respect to today's topical webinar, uh, 3 ways to be more agile in your field service business. Julio, I'd love for you to lead us through a discussion, introduce your organization, and some of the things that you've been doing.
Wonderful. Thanks everyone for joining us. I'm delighted to be here with John, Leanne, and the rest of the Salesforce team, and excited to share our experience with Salesforce with all the participants who are joining us from around the world. So as John mentioned, I'm the co-owner, co-founder, CEO of 360 Apartment Renovations. We've been in business for just north of 4 years. We've had tremendous amounts of growth, and would love to share what we've learned over the last 4 years with you. From a customer standpoint, what we realized, echoing also what the participants shared on the poll, is that we wanted to be able to stand out from the rest of the companies in our space and be able to give our customers a unique experience. And for our customers, what matters to them is getting there on time with the right person and taking care of the problem as quickly as humanly possible. When you think about that, there's like lots of steps to getting the customer request into, say, your customer service organization, getting into your scheduling teams, then scheduling the jobs and getting people out on the road to meet with your customer. And so what we realized, there was an opportunity to significantly automate that and give our customers a self-service option, which is something that we implemented very successfully, and I'll talk about in a moment. From a service leadership standpoint, our team was struggling, our scheduling and operations team was really struggling in a very high volume environment. This is not like maybe like a few orders trickling in during the day. We're talking about hundreds of orders coming in on a daily basis with lots of interdependencies, especially when you have to coordinate, John, as I think I heard that you're renovating your house, especially when you have to coordinate among different trades. You can't have, say, your painters show up last, your housekeepers show up first, right? There's a pecking order, there's dependencies, there's estimated durations and whatnot. And so from our scheduling and operations team, our key from an agile standpoint was to be able to quickly react to demand, to efficiently schedule the resources, and to show up as quickly as humanly possible at the customer site to take care of their needs. We are a very customer-oriented organization, and so we needed the underlying enabling technology to allow us to meet that challenge. And then from a field service persona, we need to be, for our communication to be efficient, not only from a timing standpoint, but communicating the right information to them in terms of where they needed to go, what they need to do, what time they need to be there, what equipment and tools they need to have on their van, or what equipment they need to have at the facility, what parts they need. The mobile app is a key thing. It's one of those things like when you're sculpting something, it's only you try to remove as much as you can. When there's nothing more than you can remove, when you've removed all the clutter and you've left the most important functionality for the field service technician, that you've done a good job. Because I mean, adding more complexity for the sake of adding complexity is not something that is conducive to having an efficient process. I mean, from our field techs, really what they care about is minimizing the windshield time and maximizing the job time, reducing, as you mentioned earlier, all the admin tasks. So yeah, everything you mentioned is something that we see day in, day out, and something that we continuously work on to improve. It's one of those things where it's continuous improvement. When you think that you finally made it, there's always a new suggestion either coming in from the field or from your clients or from our internal scheduling and operations teams. So it's something that we continuously work on. So essentially what we were looking to do is to disrupt this industry. Most of our competitors are mom and pop shops that work on pen and paper. Everything is phone calls, text messages. There's no automation, right? Everything they might, if you're lucky, they'll use an Excel spreadsheet to try to schedule their teams in the field, right? Obviously, that's not something that's sustainable and that's scalable, especially when you want to scale and have a nationwide presence. We had the ability with the Salesforce Field Service Lightning solution specifically to automatically schedule, automatically look at routes of all our field techs and based on certain service objectives, optimize those routes. When I say optimize, I mean optimizing it so that we can meet certain customer SLAs and also optimize from our own standpoint, the utilization of all of our resources. And the other thing that you mentioned, John, was around data intelligence. As you can imagine, When you have multiple systems, it becomes very difficult to mine that data and gain insights from it. What we've done from a 360 apartment renovation standpoint is built our entire value chain, everything from sales and marketing to customer order entry, scheduling, field service management, all of it, through even invoicing. Everything is built on top of the Salesforce stack. And so because we have all the information pertaining to all our transactions, all our customers, et cetera, in one single place, we do amazing things with all the information in terms of understanding what things are, what services are trending upwards, what are trending downwards. We have even all of our prospects on Salesforce as well, even non-active customers. So potential future customers on our platform. So we can utilize Pardo, which is another Salesforce product from a marketing standpoint, to enable that. So the things you can do are really limitless if you have all the information in one place. It just reduces a lot of unnecessary data manipulation, and you get incredible insights. So that was really one of our Achilles heels, and we were able to address that. We pay all of our staff in the field on a 100% variable basis. If they're able to address 3 work orders rather than 2, they get paid more. So performing that calculation of what it is that we had to pay each field technician was also an extremely manual process. So both of these things were automated, and many others too. But in terms of what our billing process looks like right now, when the technician in the field changes the status from in progress to completed and attaches the pictures, that automatically goes into a queue of work orders that have been completed. And when work orders related to that work order, which pertain to the same job, are also completed and reach the same status, the Salesforce automatically generates an invoice, creates a PDF document, creates an email, sends it to the customer. And by the way, it also takes all the pictures of the before and after. It resizes them, compresses them, and includes them in the same PDF document that is sent to the client. So absolutely no human intervention whatsoever. This obviously saved lots of FTEs, right? But it also helps with our cash cycle process in terms of being able to invoice quicker than to potentially other competitors. Our customers, by logging into our customer portal, they can easily submit a request. It takes them literally seconds. In the past, they would have to call us or email us like most other companies, and then we would have to recreate that manually on our end. The way they input the information on an electronic form that we have is much quicker than even like talking about it. It's just because you can just check things off. It's just more efficient for our customers, and it's no work for us, right? So we're avoiding all that work altogether on our end from a 360 standpoint. The intelligence that we built into our customer order form is incredible. Not only are they able to submit a request, but when they select multiple services that are interdependent, where there are dependencies, et cetera, the system automatically creates those dependencies in Field Service Lightning. Based on also on the size of the apartment unit that we're trying to renovate, it understands the duration of that job. So it's a 1-bedroom, 1-bath is going to take less to paint than say a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, or if it's a touch of paint versus a full paint versus the color change. So all of this is incorporated directly into the intelligence that we built. And when the orders come in, they're automatically scheduled by way of the automated routing engine. And our team in the office working on the schedule and operations side, they can, rather than be busy bees working on absolutely every single request that comes in, they can let Salesforce do this for them, and they can just focus on adding value on the things that maybe escape the capabilities of the system or some of the nuances that pertain to the specific clients. So it's more like an 80-20, where we can spend 80% of their time really adding value, and maybe just 20% doing business, some of the stuff that's a bit more manual. For us, we're like an innovative company that's in our DNA. We're always looking to do things more efficiently. We think by doing things more efficiently, we can be more competitive in the marketplace when we need to. So we can sustain typically better margins than our competitors. We have lower overhead. Our SG&A is pretty low relative to many of our competitors. And yeah, it's all about the process, the people, the technology. These are all enabling things. So let me just pause here for a second, John. I don't know if I'm going over time. I want to just take a quick pause and see where would you like me to go.
No, I think this was an outstanding discussion, Julio. Thank you for taking us through the journey, and a couple of reactions. I love the focus on all the automation steps that you took and its impact in terms of where your people place their attention in terms of resource utilization. What are they focused on? Are they focused on mundane activities, or are they focused on more strategic activities? And I love how the platform and the approach that you took enabled the focus on the more strategic activities instead of those mundane. The other thing that I would comment on is the invoice reconciliation process that you talked about is so incredibly critical, not only to the lifeblood of your organization, but if you want to keep that labor network happy and satisfied, you've got individuals or organizations that are a user at the organization. They're running a P&L. They're running their own P&L, and invoice reconciliation is so critical to their happiness and their satisfaction, and allows them to continue to focus on quality and be engaged, have trust in that partnership that they have with you. And then lastly, you did all this throughout the pandemic hitting the US. My gosh, that's like a huge celebration. My goodness. On time, 6 months, and just amazing. I mean, what a tremendous story. I mean, your entire team should be so proud of such a tremendous story and what you did in such a challenging time. Awesome discussion. We're going to bring you back into the discussion. We want to get some more of that mojo from you because I'm learning myself here. But before we do, let's launch our next poll. We're going to transition to our Q&A now. I want to thank Julio Hartstein from 360 Apartment Renovations. I want to thank Leanne, obviously from our partnering sponsor, Salesforce. You guys were incredible. We're going to have to do this again sometime. Thank you very much for joining the discussion.